you wanted the best, you've got the best podcast. The hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. The CEOs, authors, thought leaders, visionaries, and motivators. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. There are only things that makes it official. Welcome to the show. As always, the Chris Voss Show is a family that loves you. Doesn't judge as harshly as the rest of the world because, you listen to the Chris Voss Show. By nature, if you listen for quite some time, you should be smarter, more intelligent, more brilliant, more aware, more knowledgeable about what's going on in the world from all facets of life, because this is a show about everything and everything that can uplift you. We don't do shows about how, the world is ending. I hope we haven't done those shows. Maybe we did some during COVID. The beginning. Anyway, guys, we have an amazing young man on the show. We're going to be talking about his insightful children's novel series. And we'll get into it with him. But in the meantime, we need you to refer the show to your family, friends, and relatives. Go to goodreads.com/Chris Voss, LinkedIn.com/Chris Voss, Chris Voss 1, the TikTokity, and all those crazy places on the internet.
Opinions expressed by guests on the podcast are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the host or the Chris Voss Show. Some guests of the show may be advertising on the podcast, but it is not an endorsement or review of any kind. Today's featured author comes to us from bookstolifemarketing.co.uk. With expert publishing to strategic marketing, they help authors reach their audience and maximize their book success.
Today we have an amazing young man on the show with us. His book is entitled Harry Couldn't Hurry, an Imaginarium of Imaginactions that take place in the hot days of summer. December 6, 2024, it came out, and I should say, so that people can Google this properly, Harry is spelled H-A-R, is spelled with hair on the first word and Harry, the name, on the second. So Harry. It's by pen name Bello, and we've got Victor, who's the author, Dr. Victor Bello, with us on the show today, and we're going to get into it with him. He's an ophthalmologist by training, but a storyteller at heart. He never imagined he would publish a children's book until the day he watched his two young sons, Victor and Vincent, marvel at a spiderweb glinting in the summer sun. What began as a simple backyard moment became the spark for a story that celebrates imagination, nature, and the bond between parent and child. Welcome to the show, Victor. How are you, sir?
Thank you very much for that introduction, and I am fine, just fine.
There you go. Give us any .coms or websites, social media, wherever you want people to find out more about you on the interwebs.
We have Amazon.com. Mm-hmm. You can look it up. You can search it by simple Bello or Harry Couldn't Hurry. Then Barnes & Noble. And there are other publicists that have engaged me in publishing the books. This is Olympus House and Books to Life, which is the sponsor of this event.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
That's about it.
All right. So give us a 30,000 overview. What's inside this new book?
Well, I think that I put it in the prologue. I was, let's say, babysitting my two young boys who were 2.5 and 4 at the time. And in looking at them play in the backyard, they had a treehouse, and they were looking intently at something in the corner of the house. So thinking that it might have been a wasp nest, I went to investigate. I was floored with what I saw. And this is a fact. That was the aha moment that triggered my writing about this adventure. They were looking at a spider web that was, the rays of the sun were making it look like it was made of diamonds. So I felt touched by the sensibility of these kids at 2.5 and 4. On my way back to my chair, I says, I got to write about this. And that is what constitutes the aha moment of inspiration.
Yeah, there you go. And so, had you ever written before? Had you ever, you mentioned you're a storyteller. Had you been telling stories or writing stuff throughout your life from youth?
That is quite an interesting question, because when my older 3 daughters were in college all at the same time, you can feel your pocket tremble, right? I used to travel to Nicaragua, where I was born, to Brazil, where I went to medical school, and I used to write my journey from the beginning to the end. And the girls used to say, Daddy, it is like if I am with you there. Yeah. So that is my unpublished storytelling. Okay. And it was an easy shoe-in when I decided to publish this adventure of the boys in the backyard.
Oh, there you go. There you go. And now you have it's basically a 3-book series, but more like 4. Tell us how that works.
Well, the first one is our introduction. The aha moment was put in words, and I kept it short so that we can capture the span of attention of youngsters. Usually, I would say between 2 and 8. I remember one episode that there was a 2-year-old son of one of the members of our church, and he couldn't read. He couldn't even stay at attention, but he was carrying his book, my Harry, my Harry. So that meant that it had some appeal. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the second is Harry's summer party. And it all started like that. And this was always interacting with my boys. Okay. They would sit on my lap and let's talk about Harry. Does Harry have friends? One of them asked me. So let's write about Harry, do you have friends? I have many friends. We do too. And they begin a dialogue about this. And the second adventure of Harry is the picnic. He invites his friends that live in the neighborhood, in trees and walls, etc. And the interaction with the boys is absolutely enchanting in my book. My opinion, that is to say. But I want people's opinion. And everybody I have talked to has been very positive about it's charming, it's beautiful, it's this. So I was encouraged to publish it. Okay.
There you go. Very cool. Now tell us about the protagonist in the book, this Harry. Who is he? What is he? And what is he about?
Well, you gotta read the book, but I will tell you in essence how it was. So they were looking at the spider web. With them sitting on my lap, we said, we have to invent the story of Harry. Of the spider. We didn't have a name yet, okay? So they decided to grab my magnifying glass and look at the spider with the magnifying glass. And that is when the young one says, oh, he's hairy. He's very hairy. That's how we engage the name Harry. Now, the couldn't hurry part is different. Okay. We had to make the spider web was beautiful. So we'll make it torn here and there, and that he couldn't catch anything.
Oh, wow.
So the boys altruistically said, we got to help. We got to help him.
Yeah.
How do we help? Let's ask Daddy. Let's say Papa. They call me Papa.
Uh-huh.
He knows. He's a doctor. He knows how to feed a spider. And I gave them a lecture on protein and carbohydrates and this. And the boys said, let's ask Mom. She's more practically told. This is an ode to our women, okay? Especially mothers. And the children admitted that she was more practical. Then the boy, the youngest, came with the idea, how are we going to feed the spider? That was my question. And, when we used to go to restaurants, we used to play, you get the straw, cut the end of that and swoosh it, with the air like a...
Oh, yeah.
So the little one came with the idea, and that is a fact. It was on my lap when he said, we can put the rice and the meat, the hamburger meat that Mama had told him about, in a straw and blow it onto the net. And that is how the Harry's feeding machine was invented by young Vincent.
Wow. And it worked, huh? That's pretty wild. Wow.
In your imagination, evidently.
Wow. That's the wonderful thing about kids and why it's important for them to read books like this and read. Not just watch screens, folks. Read and learn and engage the brain. I think you'd probably agree with me.
Absolutely. And that was one of the reasons why I decided to publish these books, okay? Because number one, I engaged the children's imagination, okay? And the idea occurred to me to create a word, Imaginaction. An action generated by our imagination. And just like there are terrariums and aquariums, I says, and it's an Imaginarium. My books are imaginaria or imaginariums of ideas that were generated by the creativity of these children and yours truly as well.
There you go. Well, and so what age group is the books targeted to?
That is a very good question, but I will tell you one thing. Even nonagenarians, grandmas have enjoyed the book. But for children, it is good from 2, 3 to about 8, 9, okay? But anybody that has read it has enjoyed it and expressed that it was delightful.
There you go. Delightful is the word. So this is pretty cool. Your sons probably really enjoy the books now, right? And they were part of this inspiration and helped create the story.
You know what? They developed the habit of reading books. And I remember I had a discussion or a conversation with them about when Kindle came about. I don't want to put down Kindle or anything like that, but I feel much, much better when I have a book in my hand, okay? Looking at pages, when you physically have the book. Now, I agree 100% that the telephone and its beautiful technology of showing images, etc., is a great babysitter. But it steals away from them the beauty of reading a book. We gotta resuscitate that feeling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, reading, why do you feel reading is important? What does it do for children?
For children, number one, it just expands their imagination, their capabilities to think on their own, create their own stories. All right? Now, in addition to that, true it is that the iPad and the telephone is highly convenient, but nothing substitutes holding a book, having a book, creating a little library in their rooms, okay? And they will, from time to time, read and reread, and that is a triumph in itself.
Yeah. There you are. So, Victor, tell us what's the title of the second book in the series?
Harry's Summer Party.
Ah, there you go. And what happens with Harry in this? Give us a bit of an overview, if you would.
Here's an overview on that. Harry, do you have any friends? Oh, I have many friends. We do too, And they said, I have chores to do, but I always enjoy coming to see you. So, how do we meet your friends? I've never seen them. Oh, they are always busy building their nests, their webs, their spider webs on the trees, on the walls, and so on and so forth. Why don't you make a party? We will provide the feeding machine. And so Harry asks a friend to invite a few, and then we create a few more characters, Matilda, the Spanish spider, then Paco, the Mexican spider, and so on and so forth. So it is also very charming in the sense that, if I can confidentially say, I'm introducing a little bit of the sexuality, so to speak, because we make Harry have a little soft touch for what is her name? Matilda, I believe it is. Yes, it's Matilda. That we are very special friends, but nothing more than that. Okay. So there it is. That the picnic or the summer party takes place. The boys put to work the spitting machine. And everybody had a grand time.
Ah, there you go. What's the name of the third book?
The third book, it started like that. We were going to Cancun, Mexico, on vacation. All right. And we started the book. I says, we should I think the older one said, the 4-year-old said, we should take Harry books. No, we should take Harry himself on vacation, I said. And then we started. They said they had gotten passports and, Harry will need a passport.
I was just going to say, yeah, Harry needs a passport here, eh?
Oh, and the little one says, "No, he doesn't. He's an animal. Don't you see the butterflies go from Canada all the way to Mexico?
Right.
And they are little butterflies. They don't need passports.
And do it for long.
How do we carry our little spider?" So I don't remember who I put in charge of that. I think it was the little one. Oh, no, the older one says, he can build a spider web on my Mexican hat. The charro, you know what I mean? The Mexican hat, that colorful Mexican hat. And then we go. He can build it in my sibling rivalry takes place there. We give it a little tone of siblings rivalry. Why can't he go on mine? Oh, well, we Solomonianly, I said, we'll split them. One goes in here, and from Mexico to the other, the spider would be in your hat and the other in the other hat, and they can exchange. And that is how Harry got to Mexico on the brim of the charro Mexican hat.
Ah, on the brim
Now,
of the hat.
that's right. I made it, interesting, an interesting narrative of how the hats had to go onto the X-ray machine, and they were so well behaved. Everybody had to talk about how well behaved these children were, and they said, "Little do they know." So there is a lot of things to be done, and once we get to the beach, we have Harry. That's the narrative of this is somewhat long, and that's why I have to divide it into 2 volumes. Right?
But it's in one book, right?
But it's one book. It's the same vacation book. We divided primarily because a child can get tired of hearing, this. And if we make them want more, we are the winners. Right? Playing a little children's psychology.
There you go. And so the book's been well received. Are there any more books coming out in the series, do you see?
I see myself retouching the adventures, and I have the children are now nicely grown, and I say to them, what kind of adventures can we tag with Harry? Harry goes into space. That is trouble. Harry playing golf. We all play golf,
Mm-hmm.
Well, can you imagine a spider with 8 legs playing golf? They were gymnasts, okay? And so gymnastics and Harry. So there are themes that we haven't developed yet, but we will. I can't imagine my next book to be a gymnastic, an arachnid. No, I wouldn't use the term arachnid, but the spider's gymnastics competition, okay?
Mm-hmm.
There is enormous potential for that. My publisher says, this is good material for short movies, animated movies.
Oh, yeah. 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 As a father writing this book, how has it impacted your relationship with your sons?
It straightens, it makes them closer because it is always welcome to talk about Harry. And yes, the dialogue is beautiful there. Here is a Harry couldn't hurry. I don't know if see that?
Yeah, I can see that.
So I have determined that Harry, our protagonist, is a little spider, ageless, pretty much like Mickey Mouse. I don't know if I can say Mickey Mouse here.
Sure, yeah.
But Mickey Mouse is ageless. And the important thing is there is no violence at all in any of our productions, in any of our books. And it saddens me to see that we, the human of the species nowadays, cannot find satisfaction unless it's an exaggerated, monster trucks or the characters that fight one another just completely out of reality, It's for this reason that we keep it, I call it bucolic, things that happen, in nature, all right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I made myself clear enough.
Yeah.
Harry is ageless, is a spider, and he knows how to be a friend to growing boys.
There you go. And what advice would you give for parents to engage with their children's creativity and help them read in a way that you did with Victor and Vincent?
Very good. I will tell you one thing. While it is beautiful, or as in I have engaged with them in playing soccer and baseball, reading together is even more, how do you say, uniting. Okay. And that is what parenting is all about. Okay. To be a united family, a very closely knitted structure. All right. And if you look at it from the sociological standpoint, the family unit is the building block of society. And how eroded this family unit is in our days today, in our living days today.
Yeah.
And I can talk about this all day because
Yes.
I've been studying, how do you say, what is the growth rate that sustains a society? It is estimated about an 11 to 12% rate, and I don't know exactly the statistics, but I have read that it is as much about. Nowadays, with the mores of society, dual income, no kids, the dinks,
Yeah.
in order to survive in today's ever-growing cost of living, both parents have to work. And consequently, the family unit suffers.
Yeah.
So it is imperative that parents learn how to interact with their children. And this was one of my main objectives.
There you go. And, you've written a beautiful book series that people can follow. And, reading is so important to kids. I mean, I guess there's times where maybe putting a screen in front of them. But one thing people have to remember is our brains are not adaptive to these two-dimensional screens. And it really messes with our brains, especially the light, the blue light, et cetera, et cetera. And reading is so important because it's very natural for us to understand reading. It's very understandable for our brain. Our brain understands three-dimensional aspects. And of course, the juicing of the imagination, where you bring a child's imagination alive or feed that interest, and that makes them, learn to be speculative about things and to learn about things, and just so important that way in life, in development. And, you're going to raise a child who's going to maybe be creative in their thinking and also probably critical in their thinking. But, if you're just sitting, an iPad or an iPhone in front of a kid and he's drooling down the side of his mouth where his brain is just going to mush watching some of the garbage that's on the internet, and there's a lot of garbage, people, Jesus, that's probably not the best thing to do, because all you're just going to do is create an NPC bot who's just going to go through the rest of his life that way. And that seems like there's a lot of that idiocracy going on in today's world. So as we go out, give people your final pitch, Victor, on picking up the book series and getting to know you better, and any .coms you want them to find you at.
I don't remember my own website.
It's okay. Well, the link on the Chris Voss show for you, and I believe it's called innerfamilyhealing.com.
No,
that's not it.
it's Dr. Bello's adventures.com. Dr. Bello's writing. I don't remember exactly.
I have it here. I was looking at the wrong one. So I think it's storiesbybello.com.
That is correct.
There we
Stories by Bello.
There you go. And you can find a link for that on the Chris Voss show, as well as the Amazon link as well. So thank you very much, Victor, for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
It is I who thanks you.
Yes. Folks, order up his book wherever fine books are sold. It's under the pen name Bello. It's called Harry Couldn't Hurry, an Imaginarium of Imaginactions that could take place in the hot days of summer. Thank you for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll see you guys next time.
You listen to the most amazing, intelligent podcast ever to improve your brain and your life. Or coming too much of the Chris Voss Show podcast can lead to people thinking you're smarter, younger, or is just told and film in regularly moderated amounts. He's the doctor for resulting brain lead.
All right, there we go. Okay.